a Dsmoovee interview? Man, what he on? What he be talking about? Bro, he got the hottest STL artists. Then, on top of that, he got the business owners, STL celebrities, and everyone in between. Man, trust, he got his community on lock.
He even has something for the ladies.
Yo, check this out. He going live right now. Everybody, shh. It's Dsmoovee.
Streets 105.1 Dsmoovee, aka Smooth Diddy, aka Ain't Nobody Smoother, aka Smoother Than Brown Liquor, aka the smoothest. BKA, I got so many AKs I forgot my own name, man. Dsmoovee, 2 O's, 2 E's with a V middle, straight simple like that. Tap in with me on IG and Voice of the Streets Radio. Make sure you tap into both of those IGs, man. I love it because y'all always are supplying me with dope people in the building, man. Like the intro says, man. I don't even need to change my intro because my intro, like, it's timeless. Like you heard like all the dope people that I have up here with me. You like it's me. Like it's me. All right. So make sure y'all tap in with me. Also, man, make sure y'all hit the YouTube page right now, Dsmoovee Shabazz, because all the interviews that I'm doing, man, they're gonna be on the YouTube channel, man. And big shout out to my dog, man, my videographer Cyrus, man. Make sure y'all book my dirty right now. But today isn't about Cyrus. That's my dirty though. Today is about my man Chuck, man. Chuck Pfoutz of House of Chuck magazine is in the building. How you doing today, Chuck?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed, man. It's good to Chuck. Don't do me like that. I need that energy. I need that.
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing pretty good.
Chuck, it's so. We had a brief conversation off air, and I was telling you like I've seen you before, and I've seen your work, and we're friends on Facebook, and I've seen like some of the dope stuff you've done before. You have been in St. Louis in the entertainment scene, doing your thing for a long time. Mm-hmm. One thing I do before I start any interviews, I always give people that roses, man. For you to actually stay in St. Louis, I think is very, very humble of you and very courageous of you because of your talent. You can go anywhere and do what you do, but you decided to stay here. We appreciate what you do, my man. And it is very well respected what you do here. Of course, you've seen it. You've worked with tons of people. People know you, but not only do they know you, but they know you for something great. And I just want to give you your roses, man, to let you know you're appreciated, my man.
Lucky. I've had a lot of people help me.
Oh man, Chuck, talk to me about it. See, because a lot of people will just take the roses and they won't dish them out. You're ready to dish them out too?
I'm really all about that. That's what my show was about, was bringing in these people that are still around and kind of adding them their little. I wanted to add these little touches into this show to give it that street credit. You know what I mean? It's just, it has to go like when we shot the 15-year anniversary. Where did I go? I went to Black Pearl Studios before the old building. Yeah. Before it got bought out by the stadium. Okay, and we shot our first commercial there. That's where I was pretty much introduced into the nightlife scene. And so in like the second season where we shot our rehearsals, I learned how to dance in that studio. We shot in locations all around St. Louis that pertain to my career. So we could carry it with us wherever we go. You know what I mean? So when you look at House of Chuck magazine, I'm just promoting a link. Yeah. You know what I mean? But when you go onto that link, you get to see everything that we've created over the last 20 years. We're going on 20 years. So like you get to go on there, you get to see it all, and it's really amazing. It's right there. And, you know, I shot a lot of it with some of the best quality cameras and stuff like that, so the quality still holds up.
Absolutely.
Where I kept all of that saved and protected. I have backup hard drives. I have stuff stored offsite. I have stuff stored in safe, fireproof, and lava-proof safes and stuff like that. Absolutely. You know, so just to make sure that nothing ever gets destroyed. Somebody had to make the sacrifice and document all of this. You know, you hear all the books of Galileo and all these the different artists and stuff like that throughout history. I wanted to be added to that list.
I love it, man. Chuck, just to add on to that, this is 20 years you've been into this. Mm-hmm. How did you come up with House of Chuck magazine? I want to before we go into that whole tour, I want to know about that because that's dope.
It took a long time to. I started working on it around the beginning of 2015. I had a really hot year as a photographer, but I wanted to do something with these images and put these images in a place, like on a website and stuff like that. I wanted to tell stories, do articles and stuff like that. It took a long time to really find the right platform to use, to really get everything in motion, and also to settle down a little bit. Like, I mean, I used to photograph, I used to cover 75 shows a year or so. Oof. And then the pandemic kind of slowed everything down, and I was grateful because, I mean, I've been everywhere. Like, you know, there was a child in here earlier and stuff like that, and you make time for your family and stuff like that. And that's the way that I am too now. So I have to diversify my time in all different different areas now. So to settle down and to kind of tone down a little bit and to kind of take a break and to kind of do it for not just for your mental health, but your physical health and stuff like that. And I got diagnosed with cancer last year. I'm fine now.
Oh my goodness.
I'm doing well and stuff like that. I'm doing great. But, these things happen to you. You're nothing without your health. And so these things happen to you, life just starts calling to you. So like this year, I kind of just took a little bit of a break. I wrote a book, and I, did some small commercials, but nothing really. We didn't really release a lot of content, mostly because we're working on an epic show.
Yeah.
And our budget is it's a very expensive show. This show that we're doing, like we rented the Parthenon down in Nashville, Tennessee. And that was really, it's an exact replica of the Parthenon from Athens, Greece.
Okay.
And so we're having this really wonderful, epic, Greek mythology fashion show. So, if you're going to do a show, go to the source of it. If you would have seen our Egyptian show, we did the same thing. We really wanted to make it look as real as possible. When you look at it, you see ancient Egypt. It'll make you we just wanted to get the tone right. In the same way with this, I think this goes further, and the story that we're telling is even deeper than the story of Medusa.
Absolutely.
We tell stories with all our shows.
Yeah, you really, like you said, if you're going to do something, then you're going to do it. Let's go back to the first show.
Okay.
When you started getting into that industry, what was that inspirational factor that really said, okay, I'm finna do this?
Well, this when I started doing shows was around the end of 2016, and the industry at the time, the nightlife scene, I felt the golden era was just sort of getting ready to tarnish. But this was the high. It was it just seemed like the nightlife scene in that time was just really on fire.
Yeah.
As a photographer, I was out there documenting it. And I can sit there and say this, but between Pulse happening and then all the promoters becoming in competition with one another and destroying each other, and then Facebook Live was introduced to the public, so people were going on social media and really started slaughtering each other on social media and stuff like that. Just the power of the internet can destroy people, and watching all this happen, I was like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this right.
Yeah.
And so that's what made me do it. And so watching everybody else destroy themselves, I was like, all right, this is the best time to really kind of capitalize off the market. So we just started from
Very strategic. Yeah.
Always. Everything we do is strategic. We kind of sit down and we sort of brainstorm on how we want to how we want to get through the year. And now it's more about eras. And so this entire year is all about Greek mythology. Last year was all about Egypt, things like that. We're kind of taking a year and sort of spending an entire year on a particular project rather than doing a whole bunch of projects, because we've done that before too. 2019 and 2021, I was all over the place because I was inspired.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So Chuck, you started as a photographer,
right?
And you have built that into now what this is. What was that nostalgia moment of picking up that camera and saying, yo, I can really change the St. Louis scene here, and I can really do something with this camera?
Well, it began I was really young whenever I was first introduced to the camera. My parents were getting a divorce, and my dad wanted me to do something with what the heck I was going through at the time. Because the thing about being an artist, most artists become artists because their foundation, they don't have a foundation and they're using some sort of a creative outlet. So this is the first time in my life where my foundation was crumbling around me, and it just began from there, and I used the camera to kind of cope with whatever I was dealing with at the time, and it's been like that ever since. Everything that I'm involved in is 100% related to me. I wouldn't do it any other way. Otherwise, I wouldn't devote my time to something if it wasn't something that I believe in or something there were a few projects that I kind of disagreed with, but I can disagree with somebody, but I can still see their point of view. I don't need to agree with them to see their point of view, and I wouldn't even, whenever I do some of my stuff, I don't mind playing characters who I disagree with. I don't care about, if it's an interesting character like a villain, I'm sure if you got offered a really...
man, I'm definitely taking that role.
Sure,
yeah.
Right. That's the way I feel about it too.
Absolutely.
I'd like to play a good villain.
I can agree with you on that one. I can definitely agree with you on that one. I want to know about
a good Dr. Evil. Because the bald head.
He just I love Austin. You look like Scotty Dunk.
Do I?
Yeah.
I've been told that before.
You have?
Yeah.
Chuck, that's my movie, man. Like I love those movies.
Well,
too,
he's from Mike Myers is from Scotland.
Okay.
So Bond is a big deal over there.
Yeah.
So there's only one person who could do a spoof and do it right, and that's Mike Myers.
Okay.
So like when he did those movies, I mean that was just a big deal to all of us. Like I remember when the first movie came out, and then the second movie was totally different. It was just so much more funnier and so much more out there.
Exactly.
And then the third one was even further out there. I'm sure coming up with they're working on a fourth movie, but they said it's taken forever to come up with a good script to top those other movies.
Yeah, it definitely probably
But when you
will,
watch those movies and you watch the Bond movies, he really did his homework on how to create this spoof.
You are also in film development too as well, and you can hear that just in what you're talking about now, just in Austin Powers. How did you kind of get into that role too as well?
Well, I just I started with when we did I created a variety show at the Gray Fox over on the South Side, and I started filming those shows, and then I just got kind of curious about film, and then I worked with when we started working on our show Maximum Exposure. I hired a cinematographer to come work with us on the show to follow us around, capture film, and turn these into commercials. And by watching him, I kind of was inspired to just take the photography and just take it to another level and really understand the significance behind cinematography. And I kind of I tell you what, it's really going back to my roots and my childhood because I was always obsessed with movies. So now I'm watching movies and I look at movies a totally different way. I look at them from a director's point of view and how would I direct that scene and like with the photography, I can kind of see it frame by frame.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to capturing it frame by frame. So when it comes to editing, I just get better and better at it every time. But
that's so dope.
I'm just teaching myself day by day through passion. And I was even telling, like, I've worked with some really amazing cinematographers, and I've learned from them. And I'm like always asking them questions. I'm watching how they use the camera and how they use the angles and stuff like that. And that's how I learned. I pretty much taught myself. But I hired these people and paid them and like kind of utilized them as a resource as well.
That's
like,
so dope, man.
While they were filming my stuff.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Like that's like you really next level with this, Chuck.
Yeah.
Like you really put some thought into what you do.
We spent probably from 2000, I would say from 2013 all the way to probably 2018, we spent a great deal of time capturing pictures of St. Louis. And then probably from 2016 all the way up until now, we've been capturing a lot of footage.
Yeah.
So we have footage from Soulard. We have footage from all over the city. Like when we did the Egyptian show, we shot it pretty much all over St. Louis and tried to make you guys believe that this was ancient Egypt. And so we shot it in certain areas that looked like kind of Rome and Greece and stuff like that. And some of it like on a beach and stuff like that, like at Creve Coeur Park.
Yeah,
they got there's certain parts
they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So that's what we just wanted to make you get the tone of it right. You know what I mean? And we shot it like during like sunsetty and because it's a very sad story. With how ancient Egypt ended. It ended with Cleopatra. So like I was really specific about there was like certain love scenes I shot with the sunset. I really wanted the sun going down, kind of the sun setting on ancient Egypt with those beautiful pyramids in the backdrop, because it was just all about all of that, what happened during, and then kind of with the Greek mythology, we're kind of going into, it kind of interconnects with all of that. It's kind of before and during and after the fall of ancient Egypt. So, but it's a sequel to the Egyptian fashion show.
You are like that.
Yeah, I direct and write all my shows. I like all my shows to be connected.
And I was just but you are like that when it comes to the cinematography and the scenery and everything. Like
that's how I view it.
Yeah,
when I'm in this room, how can I film it? What I mean? With the lights and everything, I look at it from all the different perspectives.
How did you get that eye? Like
working with you guys out in these shows.
Yeah.
Walking in and having to set my camera the way that it needs to be shot to make it look pretty much exactly what it looks like on the way it's being seen right in front of us. So do that times 500. That's how I got my education.
You
even more than that.
Yeah, it's a lot because I'm hearing it.
The things that I do, like I go and visit things now. I write reviews now. I do I'm all over the place now. More my time. Rather, I'm not like I felt like with the photography. I felt like I kind of got typecast as a photographer, and then when I started doing less, I started being my other talent started being seen, and then the industry started utilizing all of that other stuff too now. So it's like I'm all over the place now as far as like I'm no longer known as just that photographer anymore. I'm that kind of guy who kind of grew up in the industry, kind of, because that's pretty much like from the moment I arrived here in St. Louis, I was pretty much turned loose into the nightlife. So
absolutely,
and like you've met Roland Page, haven't you?
Of course, yeah.
So he's the one who introduced me to all of this.
Shout out to Roland Page,
world,
man.
Huh?
No, big shout out to Roland Page,
he's
man.
Introduced a lot of people he's helped a lot of people.
Man, Chuck, I think you've helped a lot of people with your camera.
Well, yes, of course.
And also too, I couldn't breeze past that. I just want to offer you my prayers and my strength to you for dealing with cancer and the beast that it can be, and just you having this same attitude that you had before, and I think it's tripled now with what you're doing.
What made that situation awesome was I found me a really amazing doctor who had a really wonderful sense of humor. And then because like they told me if I did nothing, I'd be dead in 6 months. So whenever I didn't really like the way that they told me that, so I found me a really amazing doctor she had been working for at least a good 12 years as a doctor. She was around 40, and she was a woman, and she took a look at everything. She's like, there's some state-of-the-art treatments out there. I can get you into all these programs. She's like, I just need you to be strong and work with me. And she had her humor was amazing, and she was really a really beautiful doctor.
Yeah.
And so like I was just inspired every time I went to go see her. I was just inspired to see her, and so I just listened to everything that she told me. And it's all about mindset. You got to
absolutely.
Like, you're under so much pain, and like I had to eat. I had to do. There were so many things that I had to do, and not to mention I was working on the Egyptian show, so I had to pretty much like if something were to happen to me, I wanted this to be my last project. And so I was out there working on this project, and there were certain days where I couldn't. Like it was really difficult, but I pushed myself. I really wanted to get these things done because we shot like almost like an origin story, because we had I got the best headpieces, I got the best all that. I wanted to make sure all of that got seen. So we were out there in the hot summer, out there shooting all over St. Louis. Here I am having some of the best drugs being pumped into me, trying to keep me alive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's so funny, but I mean, it was really. I'm glad I got through it. I'll be 1 year in September, so it's like
congratulations, man.
It's all about mindset. But
I love that for you, and I will continually pray for you.
Thank you,
because that's inspirational. It puts me back in the mind of Chadwick Boseman and just how he did what he did after being diagnosed with that stuff. That's amazing.
What you're capable of when the clock is ticking.
Woo! That's
you know
deep.
what I mean? And I was do you know who Tammy Dunn is?
Yes.
Tammy Dunn was all over the place. Okay, she got diagnosed with breast cancer, I think around 2000.
Big shout out to her daughter.
Yeah,
she
definitely. I know she handled all of that really well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I told her if she ever needs me, I'm right there. I'll be happy to add my
Same
creative
here.
touch to all of that.
Same
because,
here. Same
you know
here.
what I mean?
So we're going to be working together real soon, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would really love to really get that really into the... I think the atmosphere, the way that I think Tammy Dunn really would have really take it to a really wonderful creative level when it comes to dealing with all that, because her resources go directly to the patients. A lot of these other these charity organizations, they don't exactly, a lot of that money gets put into the marketing, and about 20% of it actually goes to the people in need and stuff like that. And the thing about Tammy Dunn was she actually did it to help people, and she put breast cancer survivors in her show, and she was really all about, the whole entire tone of the show was absolutely right. But watching her in her final days, because she was bringing me food while I was sick. And yeah, I know, right? She brought me food, and I wrote the article when she passed away. I was the one. I went in there and I made sure I got pictures of the balloon and all that stuff. And I couldn't go to the funeral. I really don't like funerals. And it's because it's all about saying goodbye, and you don't really say goodbye. We need to get back to that. She just transitioned to a better place where she could, really help her. She had so much inspiration, in those final days, and watching her run around like. a mad woman because she knew that the clock was ticking. That was the way that I was too, because I didn't know what was going to happen at some point. And then even though they told me there were certain moments where they told me I was doing great, and they said, "Oh, you're almost there. You're almost in the clear," and stuff like that. I still had to keep going. And like I had a rough couple. And what they don't tell you about is what happens after you're in the clear, and the things the side effects of like getting off of everything and then going into like I had a rough 6 months. Like really recovering from all of that, and it was really it really affected me. So that I was really glad to take some time off and really get to, through creativity, I was really able to really rebound from a lot of this stuff. So
Chuck,
gives you something to grab onto.
I am happy and elated, excited to see you doing what you do.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you about all this stuff too that we have up here as well. This is
this is Greek mythology.
Yeah, talk to me about some of this stuff.
This is Greek mythology jewelry. This is jewelry from actual ancient Greece. Some of this stuff is actually from.
You'll see this on the YouTube when y'all check it out.
From ancient times and stuff like that. I just wanted to bring something to show you to kind of like talk.
That is so dope. Like
look around.
Yeah, please do. I think I seen somebody with the band on. I think I seen Tori. This is so dope.
Yeah, some people, we do rent our stuff out for photo shoots and stuff like that. Probably, I don't know if she's used our stuff.
Oh, right, yeah, this stuff is
a face. Oh my gosh, she just really sticks out. She takes everything away from the photograph. She can put on the most beautiful photographs ever, but her face just sort of steals the entire image. She just really has a one of a kind. It's really going to be a delight working with her on my show.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Chuck, when is the next show, and what can we expect?
It'll be October 22nd, 2022, at the Greek Parthenon down in Nashville, Tennessee. And yes, we do have people from St. Louis. A lot of models from St. Louis are in the show. It's kind of like a takeover where St. Louis is taking over Nashville. And you know what I mean? Because a lot of really wonderful things have happened in Nashville and come out of Nashville. But I mean, this is about Medusa, and this is about, it's really talks about what's been, really relates to what's going on in the world now with the Me Too movement and how her story begins. She has it really sort of a tragic beginning, but sort of a remarkable middle, and then a tragic ending. But it's sort of like this one, it kind of unpacks her. We do that. We unpack people in our shows, and it sort of really goes more into the curse and sort of tells you more of the hidden meaning behind a lot of what these stories, these stories were invented from the stars. And what I like to do is go in and sort of decipher these stories and find out the hidden meaning behind these stories, because, you got to look at it from a 2,500-year-old mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, so find out the hidden, like I saw a really wonderful documentary on Medusa. I just thought that it was really wonderful, all the hidden innuendos of where they created the story. You know what I mean? Like, don't these snakes look like dreads?
They really do.
Braids and stuff like that. And I'm sure you've seen my little some of the stuff that I was talking about.
I have.
This shoot. Yeah, we're getting into all of that. Like the story, like I made sure that Medusa was black and all that stuff, and I really wanted to make sure that I think when you guys see our version of Medusa, I think you'll probably see this is the best version of Medusa that's been seen on camera and in a fashion show. And this covers, like, when you do it the way we do it, we cover all of it: the stage production, the cameras, all of it. So you get to see it from like a movie perspective. You get to see it from, because I bring in a whole entire media team to, because I want it to last forever. My shows last forever. That's why we tell it in a story. And a lot of these stories have tragic endings.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Like Cleopatra was bitten by a snake, and that was my segue. Because she was bitten by a snake, and of course Medusa's got the snake heads. And it was written, I saw a wall in one of my documentaries where there's the wall. It was a wall in Valley of the Queens in ancient Egypt, where there was the son of Medusa. The son of Cleopatra, Caesarion, and then there was Cleopatra, and then there was a snake hanging right off of Cleopatra, and that was the snake god Apophis taking her soul back to the underworld. And that's what he did. And remember, every night he fought Ra as Ra was going through the underworld, through the dark, through the nighttime and stuff like that. Ra's entire quest happened every single day, and that's what, because he was the sun god. Okay. So when the sun went down, he was in the underworld. You got to look in the story.
You see, I'm thinking, I just got to go to your show and I'm gonna learn the story. Yeah,
you'll learn it.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I wrote all of it out in a script, and we have a host that goes on there and tells the story. Rather than having the models get on there and act and stuff like that, I think that would be frustrating for them. Some of them do like to act in our shows, but I leave that unwritten. You know what I mean? You know how some directors, they like their models to improvise?
Yeah.
I allow them to do that. This is their stage too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I make, in my shows, the models are just as much a part of the show as everybody else. Okay.
Absolutely.
They're the most important part. You know what I mean? Because they're kind of the ones telling the story.
Absolutely.
Getting in those. It's just very,
and
we
bringing
do our
it to
shows
life.
very differently. Everybody. It's like making a movie. You know, when you see those credits at the very end of it, it takes all of this to make it happen.
Absolutely. I got one more question I want to ask you.
Sure.
And what brought you into the fashion show industry? What was that?
Well, I kind of got fired from the drag industry. No, not really, but I mean, I was really ready to make a shift in my career. You know, I've been working. I started out kind of. I came to St. Louis wanting to be a dancer, and then I kind of fell into the photography after the dancing thing didn't work out. And so I kind of got started into the nightlife scene and the drag scene and the burlesque scene and all of these different scenes. And then kind of like around 2016, 2017, I did a lot of stuff in the drag community. But I don't know, that world, I'm not a person who likes to take things out on social media. I'm not a person who likes to handle things in that way. I'm a very private person. Plus, I'm a business. These are entertainers.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of I handle things as a business. And so like when I went into the fashion world, that's more handled as a business. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So when I went into that world, it just seemed, it was like everything was new. I always wanted to work in the fashion industry. That was something that I wanted to do before I went into the world of entertainment.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's the best. I describe that as nightlife and the world of entertainment and all of that, and the LGBTQ, because I wanted to take care of my people too, you know, and stuff like that. And it was really all about, and I didn't charge a lot of them for my services because
so dope.
I'm all about my people. And same way with St. Louis too. I gave St. Louis a lot of my services for free. Like probably from 2013 to 2018, I really didn't charge a lot for my services, if I charged anything. You know what I mean? But somebody had to be out there to capture all of this. So like when you look at House of Chuck magazine, when you look at this card with this one website, you get to see all of that. 10 years of me working in St. Louis, you just click one link and you get to see it.
I love it so much.
Almost like a streaming service, but more.
I love it so much, and I cannot wait
and these shows
to make
are
sure I type
stories
in.
about me in St. Louis, so
Absolutely.
it all connects together.
Absolutely.
So, you know, so it's sort of like a whole self-promotion type of thing.
Chuck, I think that's one of the dopest things too, because like you said, it's a self-emotional piece.
Right.
House of Chuck is something that's going to promote you, what you do, and how you exhibit and how you see St. Louis, how you see the world. And I think that's truly amazing, man.
And the difference between us and everybody else is we continue to keep, whenever you work with us just that once, we continue to keep promoting you.
Absolutely.
So no matter what, if we have falling outs or whatever, as long as I'm promoting House of Chuck magazine, we're promoting everybody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So no matter, I just tell people, I was like, whatever, we'll get past this later on. Everybody will grow up at some point. We'll have a talk. You know, I believe that everything can be handled with a conversation. So
you and me both,
like
Chuck.
Social media stuff. I hate taking it out on social media. I don't want everybody else's opinion in my stuff. You know,
Chuck. Right on.
Right on.
Right on, Chuck. Please tell people how they can follow you, how we can support the show, how we can buy tickets, all that.
www.hocm365.com, or you can follow me on Chuck Pfoutz on Facebook, or House of Chuck Magazine, or Maximum Exposure Fashion Series. Find us on one of these platforms. We make sure that we update everything every single, you know. I'm all about, I try to keep people informed. Everybody knows what's going on, all of our amazing stories and all the stuff that we do. I try to keep people informed. I'm kind of in people's faces just a little bit.
As you should be.
Yeah, that's why I'm on here. I'm promoting it.
I appreciate you, Chuck.
I appreciate what you do and your audience and all of that. I see you promoting a lot of stuff, helping a lot of people.
Of course, that's what we're supposed to do as people, as human beings, Chuck. I think that's the
how we
beautiful
make
thing.
a city run.
That's right, Chuck. And I need you. So just like you need me, I need you. So I appreciate you. Streets 105.1. Make sure you support House of Chuck magazine right now. I'm gonna make sure I tap in. I'm gonna have to put the link in something, and I want to make sure. Yeah, lend me some of those. I need some of those cards. Yeah, I want to make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure people tap in and look. Models out there. I don't know if Chuck is hiring. I don't know what's going on, but
they can apply for our show.
There you go.
We have. Here's the thing. People apply for our shows all the time. So people come in all year long. We usually do, because our shows are so epic and so big. We had to downsize and start doing one show per year so we can afford like all this amazing
Yeah.
jewelry and the headpieces and stuff like that, you know, because like after a certain point you become in competition with yourself. That's why I tell people, stop worrying about other people. At some point you become in competition with yourself. Have you ever seen an artist come out with a really great album and then they have to top that album?
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm doing that right now. That's our struggle right now, is to top our Egyptian fashion show. That's
Absolutely.
what we have to do. So what better way to do that than to go down to another city where we don't have to worry about topping ourselves in this city and renting an epic venue with epic music and epic jewelry and stuff like that, and bring in St. Louis, our own people who we've been working with here, and they help us take over that city. And you know, we have some Nashville designers and stuff like that. We collaborate with Nashville, incorporate all of that together, and then we create this epic production. It's sort of a sign of where we are at House of Chuck magazine, just like where we are at as a family, and more. In this season, we're more in action. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're really sort of fighting back. We're turning people to stone. You know, Medusa really takes back her power, and I think she really starts to enjoy turning people to stone throughout this whole entire 300 years that we cover. You know, we have 3 different women covering her at different time periods because Medusa's the only one who gets older. Her whole entire family, they're immortal. So, and they're all trying to protect her and try to protect the ultimate power.
Absolutely.
You know, and then she becomes a queen. You know, you'll watch it.
I definitely will. I definitely will. Make sure y'all tap in right now, man, with House of Chuck magazine. I'm gonna make sure I post the link. Also, I got some new music from FSO O'Shea on the regular, and then Lil Durk, Aha, right after that. Make sure y'all tap in. Dsmoovee, Voice of the Streets, 314-669-1390. It's Streets 105.1.